Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to take a quick look here at Bitcoin, double check 88,400 and some change. At this point, we're seeing this local point of control kind of working as a potential resistance right at roughly 89,000. But there's a decent amount of support below the price action too. So we are seeing a lot of support in the 86 to 87,000 range. So me personally, this does feel like the calm before the storm. I think we are going to probably kind of maybe rip a little bit later to the upside because you got to recognize here in about an hour, hour and a half, I believe it's at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Crypto Summit coming up here. So keep in mind that's coming up really close, really soon here. There's a good chance that that will be a very significant fundamental catalyst, or you could also argue the price is, we're priced in here at this point and it's not going to matter too much. There's a lot of different schools of thought, but the simple way to understand it is that we've seen a lot of selling pressure in the recent past here, and every time the price comes down, it instantly comes right back up. So there's a solid chance I think we're going to see further upside just based on the overall pattern and structure we're seeing with the trading charts. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. Before we get started, please hit the like button, folks. Thanks again so much for always doing that. Really appreciate that. When we take a look at the last 7 days liquidation, we can recognize here that there's a pretty big chunk once more still between 94 and 96,000. And obviously from a more macro perspective, 100,000 is that big number. But the simple way to understand it is that 95,000 is probably the next target if we end up breaking 90K and running back towards our local high. It's a pretty significant area there. So just know if you're going to have some profit targets between now and then, sometime before 95,000, generally best to put your targets before these levels because even though liquidation events do occur, you can secure profits before you hit that level if the price turns around. Oftentimes those areas are significant resistances or supports. Right? You got to recognize that liquidation kind of is a combination of people, an area where people feel comfortable or confident in that range holding. So just know that. We can see liquidation delta still to the downside, so more people shorting than taking longs, but it's been maintaining itself for almost too long. There's too many people shorting the market right now. So the overall sense is that that will probably be reset here in the relative near future. Market makers are very, very good at balancing things out. So too many shorts in the market, we could very well see a reversal here soon. Take a look here, 90,000, we can see that level of open interest here locally, and 86,000. So that's my rough estimate for a range that we're in right now, 86 to 90,000. It seems to be kind of the area. Yes, we have some outliers above and below, but for the most part, we're stuck in that range. So if you're going to take a long, maybe secure profits just under 90,000. Once more, you can't get super greedy in this market, folks. It's not the market to just run things to 120,000 or if you're trading Solana 300. Come on, we're not going to see that for a while. It's just the realisticness of how the market's shifting right now, and it's kind of this big old chopped salad is probably the best way to describe it. That could eventually change, but these candle wicks are very, very aggressive. So if you're part of my community, you're wondering where all the trade signals are. Well, good traders are going to be waiting and patiently on the sidelines, not trying to force any trades. It's basically where I'm at in this situation. We've taken 2 profitable trades this week, a pretty big short from Bitcoin and a nice big long from Chainlink. So I'm okay with that. I don't need to just sit there and trade all day, every day. I've got a trading bot for that. Future reference, if you're part of my community, make sure you reference our signals guide so you kind of understand how to structure the trades. But for our auto trading bot, it's working pretty well. We're seeing some pretty significant consistent gains. So it's more of a passive income option there, but that is essentially filling in the gaps for a lot of our members. So I'm thankful we have some benefit, some opportunities to provide in such a terrible market. So cool stuff there. Let's take a look at the daily. We're below all moving averages. We've known this for a while, but the 20-day SMA is getting closer to that 90K range. So we're getting closer to breaking free from that descending type of trend and potentially, breaking bullish. But we're still under 50 on the RSI. While we're above our SMA there, it's fantastic. That's definitely good, kind of showing us we have a shift in momentum. There's not a lot else here on the daily kind of letting us know that we're in good shape. So I think if you're looking for, if you're reaching, you're going to find stuff that you want to find. But for the most part, there's nothing like super advantageous here. We do have like a type of a triangle pattern here forming, which is pretty indicative of a breakout coming soon. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that breakout sometime today. But at this point here, it's we're working ourselves into a type of channel, and generally speaking, you see breakouts occur when that happens. The momentum is more so to the upside than the downside, just based on the overall sense that we're establishing higher lows more consistently than the lower highs. But again, it's just a small little pattern or structure that you can see here. It doesn't mean too much, especially leading into a crypto event here. We're also seeing a lot of break even at 50 on the RSI. What does that tell us? Well, that tells us there's indecision. And what do? Do you take a trade when there's indecision, or do you take a trade when there's a definitive direction established? We don't have a definitive direction established. So what do you do in the situation? You force a trade. Just kidding, you don't do that. That's what most people do. It's not the best recommendation. The best thing to do right now is kind of wait for an established direction. So if we can break this descending trend, close above 90,000, then we might have a leg to stand on to see some green moving forward. But you got to recognize we're coming up on a weekend. Today's Friday. We have a crypto summit. There's a lot of reasons why trading into this weekend is a bad idea. So as enticing as it is, it's probably a better idea to just kind of wait on the sidelines. Now, I'm toying with the idea of opening a long into the trading event on one of the trading pairs that is supported to see how that works and how that responds. But I'm still, the verdict's still out on that one. But for right now, you can see that Bitcoin is not really looking or exuding some awesome behavior here. The simple way to understand it, we have our point of control 89,000. Until we close above that, we really have no reason to consider a trade. We look at the Ichimoku cloud here too. It's a mixed bag of nonsense. With lagging spans below the price action, conversion lines above the baseline, we're in the cloud. There's 3 out of 3 reasons to be like, I have no idea what's going to happen next. That's exactly what this is telling us. And those are generally things you don't want to trade into. So just some friendly advice, steer clear of trading for a little while. I may even recommend just not trading until Monday, right? It's probably pretty safe to say that's kind of where I'm leaning. But outside of just a potential consideration on one of those alt trading pairs, one of those, Solana, XRP, or Cardano, outside of those coins, I really have no reason to consider, trading. And truth is, most of those are selling off pretty hard right now. So there's probably a good reason for that, because those are going to be covered here later today, or they're just they're part of the speculation. Either way you look at it, not a good call to take a trade at this point. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, though. Either way, thanks again so much for watching. Like, subscribe, follow if you haven't already. Join us on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you want to have access to our trade alerts. And then, of course, make sure you reference Bitunix too, folks. Awesome exchange, link down below. No KYC or VPN required. And you get a good, significant deposit bonus between now and March 14th. Just make sure you take advantage of that if you're part of our community. All right, folks. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Be safe out there. Take care.